What's good, guys? Prince Sports here. I'm just going to take the risk because it could rain at any given time. I'm hearing the noise, the thunder. But you know what? Life is about taking risks sometimes. That's what life is all about. And you know what? Go for it. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Giannis Antetokounmpo, not one, but two times. And you could even make a case three times, lost this series. That game that they lost at home, I said, you know what? That may come back to haunt them. That may be a game that they could look back and say, hey, we let that game slip, and therefore we're going to be going home fishing. You know, I wouldn't go as far to say it's Luka's league now. I say anything can happen. What if he goes out and gets knocked out by Steph Curry? So he's going to have to earn the right to be called that. I mean, you don't get that earned by just going to the third round. He got to beat the Golden State Warriors. Then he got to go to the NBA Finals. And if he could get the job done, he'd be tied with Giannis Antetokounmpo for face of the league, you know, and it'd be an arms race. But Giannis still don't got a tight grip on his league yet, you know, and his flaws got exposed. He had over 20 offensive fouls in this series, almost basically alone. Okay, so Giannis been running over people, getting called for offensive fouls. He can't shoot that well. His offensive skill set and his flaws showed. When you're a basketball player and you're a superstar player, Zach, teams will expose you. Teams will look at your flaws and force you to get better at your flaws. This is what makes great players great. When LeBron first came into the league, he couldn't shoot that well. People exploited it. When Michael came into the league, he had problems going left a little bit or finishing with his left hand, but he turned his weaknesses into his strengths. That's what you have to do when you're a basketball player, because people will call you out. Blowing the 3-2 lead is a bad look. Yes, it is, because he had two opportunities to close them out, not one but two, and 10 for 26, not showing up in the second half, brick after brick after brick. If you had a great offensive output, you probably would have won one of these games, because that would have opened up the floor. Guys would have been triple teaming, double teaming you, and guys like Drew Holiday would have been open. Those 3-point shooters would have been wide open, because you would have been tracking so much double teams that you would have spread this game wide open. But he didn't get a chance to do that because he got locked down. You know, when you keep missing shots, people don't look at you as a threat. They look at you as a threat when you keep getting buckets, you know? Oh, yeah, Chris Paul did too. Chris Paul just ruined his last chance of winning the NBA championship. Now you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself for why you don't have an NBA championship. That's on you. You just cost your team an NBA championship. Not once, but twice, you know? Capri Suns are back. What flavor? Watermelon flavor? It got to be a strong flavor, because it brainwashed some people a couple of times. The Capri Suns is back. I like that. You know, but yeah, man. So when we hold Chris Paul to standards of other great point guards, you can't rank him above Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas got 2 chips. And Isaiah Thomas outplayed some of the greatest players to ever pick up a basketball. As a matter of fact, he beat 3 of the top best players to ever pick up a basketball in one season: Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan. Now, how he did it is another way, but the fact that he did it, you know, speaks volumes. You know, Chris Paul could be a top 10 point guard of all time, but this pushes him back. I got to take him off that top 5, because he had a legit chance of winning a championship this season and last season, and he blew it. You blow it. He may not be. That means Hoop Facts was right. See, we was laughing at Hoop Facts. You know, well, you guys was just sitting there calling Hoop Facts wrong, but hey, he was pointing out the guy's offensive flaws. We all know he had offensive flaws. I've been exposing them, but I said it was amazing that he was winning games despite all the flaws that he has as a basketball player. You know, it is what it is. You know, see, when a guy like Hoop Facts come on here and y'all say he's saying outrageous, crazy stuff, he always turns out to be right a lot of the times. You know, so you gotta you gotta have to let it rock. You know what I'm saying? He is right about his offensive flaws. The guy LeBron James is a better closer than Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's a better shooter. If you put LeBron in the same situation, I'm not saying he would have won, but he probably would have had a better chance. You give LeBron 2 games to close the team out, and he's a better shooter, and you can make a case he's a better fourth quarter performer than Giannis, he probably win those games. You know? Now, when we compare LeBron to other offensive players, there's flaws too. But if we're just going to stick to LeBron versus Giannis, LeBron's still a better closer, and you need that in the playoffs. He's still a better closer, and he's still a better shooter than Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is a fact. I have always said that. Giannis is dominant, but he needs help closing games out. How many times have I said that? These role players aren't going to be there to bail you out. This is your team. You got to close stuff out. The best player in the world is up for grabs now. John is absolutely right. It is up for grabs. Question is, who's going to grab it? Will Steph Curry? Boom, give me that. You never gave me that title because I played with Kevin Durant. You gave the team to him. When I had the team as being the team leader, you lost in 2016. And when they won in 2015, he still wasn't considered the best player because, Iguodala stole the spotlight in the finals from him. You know, who could get it? Could we say Steph Curry is the legit best player in the game right now? If he steals the moment from Luka, you know, Luka the Don, the Mafia Don, Mafioso. Will he put a hit out? Will Luka put a hit out on the NBA this season? We don't know. But it's up for race. It's up for grabs. What if Jason Tatum wins an NBA championship this season? Can we say he's the best player for a single season? Maybe. He would have went through Giannis. He went through Kevin Durant. He would have went through Steph Curry. We got to give the man his props if he could do that. Or he would have went through Luka. We got to give the man his props if he could do that. Luka the Dire Wolf. Give Luka his props. He beat a team that he wasn't favorites to win. Everybody said the Mavs weren't going to beat the Suns. He came back in stunning fashion and beat those boys. Man, what was it? In 3 games in a row? 2 games in a row? Something like that? Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, yeah. There's no way a team with a guy that's supposed to be emerging into a superstar in Devin Booker, Chris Paul, an all-time great point guard. You know, I don't know if you could say he's a superstar. Chris Paul, I can't say a superstar neither because superstars got to be able to take their team to the next level. But he did take his team to the finals last year. So by all those standards, you could still say he's a superstar that came up short this year. But let's just say for argument's sake, he is a superstar. So Chris Paul, superstar. Booker, all-star. And DeAndre Ayton, borderline all-star, you know. He cemented himself. GOAT status, John. GOAT status. Greatest choker of all time. Why I name the greatest of all time? Because every time the playoffs come, I choke right on time. Cool J remix version. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Luka put that work on him. Unstoppable. And Luka, unlike Giannis Antetokounmpo, he got a better scoring skill set. Luka got the step back move. Luka could shoot better. All right. Luka got a better post up game in terms of moves than Giannis. Giannis is very standard, very traditional in the post. Giannis is very dominant at going towards the basket, but he can't shoot. He's a mediocre finisher. So his offensive game needs help. Giannis Antetokounmpo needs improvement on the offensive end. Luka is the mayor of Phoenix. Yeah, he is, man. So, yeah, he's not hiding. I mean, he made a pick. I made a pick. I was wrong. I want to say congratulations to everybody. You finally got me on one. You know, it is what it is. We're all human, you know. So if you picked, I don't know how many people here picked the Mavs to beat the Phoenix Suns because the Phoenix Suns was favorites. So let me say that first. But if you picked the Mavs to beat the Phoenix Suns, if you was a John, hey John, I give you your flowers right now. You were right. G Money was wrong. I was wrong. A lot of people were wrong, you know. So it is what it is. Zach, you picked the Mavericks? Did you pick the Mavericks to win? I'm assuming that you picked the Mavericks to win. So if you picked the Mavericks to win, Zach, you was right. You know, man, don't it hurt saying Zach was right? I ain't got a front, man. And Zach, you're my boy, you know, but damn, it gotta really hurt to say Zach was right about an NBA pick, you know, because I would say this much: you're wrong about a lot of things, Zach. But when it comes to picking some teams winning games, you probably was right on this one. Yeah. Whoa, Chi-Town said the Mavs was gonna win too. Oh my God. How many people we gotta eat crow to today? Shit. Oh, okay. You picked the Celtics. Well, the Celtics were a better rebounding and defensive output, but that's about effort. That still got nothing to do with the Milwaukee Bucks coming up short. You know, don't blame the role players. They did their job. They played their role. Giannis came up short when the team needed him most. Because it's about closing games out. You got to be a superstar and able to close games out. You have to close games out. I'm going to repeat that again. Superstars have to close games out. That's why they called superstars. Giannis has many flaws on offense. His defense is pretty good and solid. His biggest flaws is offense.
Yeah, salute, man.
What up?
You were right, John. You were right about the crumbling, bumbling, choking ass son. You were right.
I told you, you cannot
Yep,
put your
I was
faith in
wrong.
Chris Paul, man. I told you,
Yeah, I'm
man.
done.
Chris Paul is a choker, man.
He
I don't
is.
know
He's
why
an
So
you even
John,
ultra
you
believe in him
got
in the
choker.
first place.
John, you got me and G Money eating some crow. Salute to you, by the way, brother. It is what it is, you know.
Thank you.
We're gonna man up and give you your
Thank you.
flowers. Salute, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You're right, man.
But damn, I
You,
hate being wrong.
Shaitan, everywhere.
You know what hurts the
I
most
told you,
about
like
this
they
though?
had to win game six. You don't win game six, it's a wrap because that
Right.
was their best shot. They ruined it.
I agree.
Right. You know what hurts about this the most though?
They lost by 30 in a game six.
Damn.
33. And they were down by 46 at home. Like, are you
Yeah.
serious?
Which is the largest deficit in NBA history in a game
And
seven loss. The largest
Wow.
deficit.
embarrassing. And
Wow.
this happened at Phoenix. And this happened on the road. Uh, Here's what's sad. It's not like this happened in Dallas. This happened in the Valley of the Sun. Are you
Exactly.
serious, man?
And this was a team that was presumed to go to the NBA Finals, a title
Uh-huh.
contender.
Yeah,
Nobody presumed the
because they're so
Mavs would
much
be a
better
title
than the
contender.
Warriors. They're so much better than the Warriors. Remember that, G
Yo,
Money? They were so much better than the Warriors.
Uh-huh. And I was wrong. And don't sleep on the Mavericks, man. Don't sleep on the Mavericks. You never know what can happen.
No. Listen. Stephen, those guys, they're not gonna sleep on the Mavericks. They're gonna take care
You
of
don't know
business.
what you don't know what can happen. You don't know. Like
Yes, I
you
do
don't
know.
know.
I know
No,
that
you don't.
Steph ain't choking like CP3. He don't
I
choke like that.
understand that. I understand that. But at the same time, I want to
Nah,
ask you: did you predict Milwaukee to get blown out by Boston? No one
I
thought that
pick
before you.
I
Did,
picked the Celtics to win because I said that I
well,
said
you
the both
saw a
teams
28-point win. You saw a 28-point win.
I said if I said the two teams that don't win game six, they're gonna lose. They're in trouble to lose.
No, all right, but my point, I'm like, did you predict Chris? Again, I'm not going to make excuses for the Bucks. I'm not because Milwaukee laid an egg, but I'm saying that injuries could happen with Golden State. I mean, looking to get hot. You just never know what can happen. These playoffs are so unpredictable. You know what I mean, Pete? You just never
I
know.
don't listen. I don't care about all that because when it comes to competitive sports, injuries are a part of the game. I don't care.
No,
You just
my
got to get it
point I'm
done.
saying is that you don't. My point I'm saying is that you don't know what can happen. The Mavs can get hot from three. I mean, in my opinion, the Warriors were not that impressed against the Grizzlies. I mean, you just don't know. You don't like. We just have
I
to
think
wait and see,
I
though.
think Golden State. You're right. We might not know, but if I had to bet money, I'd probably go with Golden State because they're a more experienced team.
Mm.
True, but I'm gonna shock people. I have a weird feeling that Dallas is gonna pull the upset. I just have a feeling, man.
Ooh,
I had a weird
sounds like a
feeling before
challenge
this
is
game
here.
7-2 they're gonna pull the upset because for
No
not
one thought to win by 33. Nobody thought to do that against Phoenix.
no yeah
Nobody thought that.
I thought I thought it'd be a close game, but
Yo,
I just got a weird.
I can't see Steph Curry choking like this though. I don't see the
I mean,
Warriors
I
getting
agree.
beat down
Maybe
by
not
33.
this rate, but I'm just saying that who knows what can happen next round. Maybe
Yeah.
Bullock
Well,
is
it
hot.
depends on
Maybe
how the role
Luka.
players play for Dallas. Because if they play like how they've been playing this series, they could win. But if it's just Luca doing everything, then they
Yeah,
have.
I agree with that. But same thing with the Warriors. Same thing with the Warriors. Clay has to be consistent. Steph has to be consistent. Same thing with Wiggins. You just never know. It's this
Well, you
playoff is
can't
so
make
unpredictable.
that excuse for the Warriors because the Warriors got just as good role players as Dallas anyway.
No, I
So
agree.
it
I
goes both
agree.
ways.
I'm agreeing with that. I'm not saying
Yeah.
they don't. I'm just saying is the Mavericks are shitters too. They're a good
Wait,
defensive team.
so G Money, who's your prediction? Who's your prediction for two teams in the finals?
NBA
Let's
Finals, Mavs and Heat, Mavs and Heat.
Oh,
nah. Remember your predictions got eliminated. They got
wait, so
sent to
you got
Cancun today.
Miami over Boston?
Yes, I barely. I have Miami over Boston. I could see Boston winning, but I just think Miami is a better. I just think Miami's just better when it comes to perimeter defense slightly, and I just think that Boston's too streaky for me. I mean,
I don't believe in Boston because they went
think
seven
about it. They
games.
needed 7 games to get past the top of Milwaukee. Think about it.
They
Yeah,
went
but
seven
what's it
games
called?
with
Miami
Milwaukee
didn't
with
play
no
any.
Chris Middleton.
They didn't have a great matchup either. Philly,
I understand. I
what's
understand
it
that,
called?
but you
Joel
didn't.
Embiid was hobbled.
Yeah, but he came back, so I don't care. He came back though, so he played the last 2 games and he got blown out. So it doesn't really matter. We will never get to know
Hey
what would
yo,
have happened to the pair. We will never know.
me and Shy Town was talking to some kid in the comment section that was defending Giannis. How you gonna defend Giannis today? He took 26 shots and only had
Yeah,
25
another thing
points
is, did
on
you watch the
26
game,
shots.
Prince, or no? Did you watch the game
He
or
was
no?
four
Yes, I watched.
sixteen
I
in the
watched all
second
the
half.
game.
Yeah, no, the
I
first
watched all
quarter
the game.
They're
they were
up by
playing
10.
great. They were up, yeah, and then
Yeah,
I don't know what happened the last three quarters. They couldn't buy a single bucket.
I mean, like in the
yeah,
first quarter, it looked like Giannis was on pace to go for 40.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
yeah.
And
then
Brooke Lopez was balling too. Don't forget.
so they're up 10 in the
Oh yeah.
first quarter, and then they lose by like 28. That makes no sense to me.
And Shy
It's
Town,
idiotic.
check this out. If Giannis played if Giannis played efficient, dominant basketball, effective basketball on the scoring end, and they were up by 10, those role players would have got wide open threes. This game would have been blown out
And
proportion.
then
But
he
for
was
some
really
reason,
passive too. I felt like Giannis, I
Was
didn't see the
yeah,
aggressiveness from him.
offensive
yeah.
fouls, missing jump shots, floaters. Drew Holiday was bad. The Bucks were only 433 from three. Like
Like if
yikes.
I'm a star player and it's the fourth quarter and none of my teammates can grab a bucket, I'm taking every shot. I don't care. I don't care how
Facts.
many
I
shots
did.
I miss.
I would do the same thing.
If
I'd do the same
if
thing.
my teammates cannot buy buckets, then I'm taking every single shot. I don't care if I miss every one of them. I'm taking every shot.
Right.
This remind me of when LeBron played Boston in 2010. You remember that series? In Game
Uh
Six,
huh.
it kind of reminded me of that. You didn't see any
Right.
urgency from the team.
Right. And it's
Oh yeah.
sad. I mean, and it's sad. And Milwaukee had a chance to get back to the finals and couldn't do it neither. I know you didn't have Chris Middleton, but remember, Boston didn't have Robert Williams. So, and Boston didn't have Marcus Smart for game two. So both teams were hobbled,
Right.
not just Milwaukee. But you know what?
And the
Boston
Milwaukee
overcame it.
Bucks had the Milwaukee Bucks had not one, not two, but 3 games to get a W on this team and close them out, or
Game
have a
3,
better
game
win.
4, they were up double digits, lost. Game 6, they pulled it in 4, couldn't get it done. Game 7, were up 10 and got smoked. Yeah.
Yeah, after game,
So
and
I
then I
don't want to
told
hear
people
that Chris
too.
Middleton excuse.
I know
Nope.
most of their wins were on the road, but game 7 you want in your home building. You don't want to play in the road. And
Facts.
Milwaukee,
Right.
they tanked to avoid the Brooklyn Nets. If they didn't do that, they would have had home court advantage against Boston.
And they may have won it. Who knows?
And they would have had a game 7 at their home. Like, if you're a team, you always want game 7 at your home no matter what. Because the home
Facts.
team majority of the time wins. Not all the time. Obviously, Suns lost, but I thought they made a mistake by tanking to avoid the Nets because they lost on home court advantage.
Right. They lost the game against the Cavs on purpose.
Yeah, they benched all their starters to avoid the Brooklyn Nets, and I think they would have beaten the Nets if they played in the first
I
round.
agree. The more I thought about it, yeah, they would have. Yeah.
So they avoided the Nets for no reason, and
So
then
what does this do? Let me answer this question to all three of you guys. What does this do to the legacy of Chris Paul?
It hurts it a lot. It hurts it a lot. 5 blown, 2 of his leads. It hurts it a lot. You got smoked by 30
game 7.
points.
4 straight game 7 losses.
And embarrassing.
Dude, they quit. Sorry, they quit in the first quarter. In the first quarter, they quit. Like,
first
they're
quarter,
not even going back on defense. They're not even trying on defense in the first quarter. How do you quit in the first quarter?
And to me, they quit more in the second. To me, more in the second.
To me, they quit in the first quarter. I knew the game, like the way they played.
Yeah, the game was over in the first quarter.
It was over.
Oh,
I mean, Luka was playing, and even Spencer Dinwiddie
what does it do for John? How do you view Chris Paul after this now?
I would say
change or what?
No, I would say after this, it's a serious legacy hit because this was a legacy game for Chris Paul. Like all the media was champion Chris Paul to get this win and face Golden State because they're so much better than Golden State apparently. That's what I've been told. But
right.
I've been telling people you can't be investing, you can't be putting your chips behind a choke artist. You cannot do that and expect success. So to me, he's out the top 10 for me.
Oh yeah. Now see what this does for everybody that's watching basketball.
Wait, you don't think he's a top 10 point guard of all time?
Absolutely not. He got too many flameouts. Too many 3-1
point guards of all time.
Too many 3-1 leads blown. Too many 3-2 lead blowns. Too many injuries. Too many excuses for why he can't get it done.
Chris Paul ain't better than Isaiah Thomas.
And he had a lot of
I think he's top 10. I don't think he's top 5.
And he had a lot of great teammates. And he's still.
No, I still think he's top 10, but not top.
I agree. I agree with that.
Let me ask you a question.
I think he's outside the
going
top
on for
10.
a few weeks.
But who's your top 10 point guard list?
All you need to know is Chris Paul's not in it.
All right, but who's your top 10 point guard list? I want to hear it.
So you're gonna have, let's see, we're gonna have Magic.
Okay.
We're gonna have Stockton.
Oh, you can make a case.
J Kidd.
I agree with that.
Who else? Oscar Robinson.
I agree. Steph Curry.
Obviously, you're gonna have Steph in there. You're gonna have who else? Isaiah Thomas.
How about Walt Frazier?
Walt Frazier.
Yeah, Walt Frazier. You're gonna have Jerry West.
He's a shooting guard. He's a shooting guard.
Nah, he is a combo guard. He played both.
Combo guard. So that's 7 you named, right?
Let's see.
Steve Nash.
Is he above Bob Cousy? Because that's been a debate for the last 2 weeks. Bob Cousy and because do you guys see that video with JJ Redick?
Oh no.
No, he basically because some guy was arguing that CP3 is not better than Bob Cousy, and Redick went to the whole plumbers and firefighters argument.
I don't know.
Chris Paul to me.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Is he better than Bob Cousy?
Yes, I think Chris Paul is better than Bob Cousy.
I think so, barely. Yeah.
I mean, from a resume standpoint, Bob Cousy has a better resume, but it's a different era, so it's hard to compare. But
Yeah,
from a
it's true.
resume standpoint, Bob Cousy
When you
had
talk about Chi-Town, when you talk about players from the 50s, 60s, or even 70s, that's might as well be another NBA. It's so different. It's worlds apart.
Yeah,
I mean, you could
it's worlds
compare them,
apart.
but you gotta have to really go into different forms of detail, and you have to add in a bunch of different stuff because some stuff didn't exist then,
well, I think it's more
and
fair to
some
go by.
don't exist now.
Sorry, it's more fair to go by resume. What they did in their
To a
era.
certain extent. To a certain extent, but I may have to give Chris Paul the tad bit nod over Bob
Yeah, if we're
Cousy
going by
on
skill,
some of
obviously CP3, but you have to consider the rules were different and they didn't have like
True.
film or anything. Like CP3 had the luxury
these.
of
That's my
watching
point,
film.
though. That's that's my point. What I just made to you, though. If they were so separate apart that everything, some stuff just don't add up. I mean, nothing really connects. You know. So that's why that whole GOAT stuff didn't even start until the 80s. The 80s was like the beginning of the modern NBA era. So from the 80s
No,
and
they
up
were calling
is
like
when
Will
that
and Bill
whole
Russell with the GOAT before like Jordan came.
not really, because basketball was more of a team orientated sport. People wasn't even looking at that individual stuff as much as
No,
they
for
do
Wilt, they're doing that
today.
because he had all the because Wilt had all the records. So people were saying Wilt
Yeah.
was because of the record. And some people said Oscar Robertson was a GOAT because he averaged a triple double.
Yeah, I know there's some standouts, but that really wasn't going on back then. Because my grandfather told me he came from that era. He said we wasn't doing debates of who was the best individual player. It was more of a team thing.
Well,
You know,
there's a guy who
so
I used to work with. I think he was probably like in his 70s. For him, he said Wilt
yeah.
Chamberlain was his GOAT, not Michael Jordan. And he was I think he was
Okay.
probably like
I mean,
early 70s. So
well, Chamberlain got good records, but he got too much mishaps, too many coming up short moments.
True.
But uh, here's Zach says Kyrie Irving. Is Kyrie Irving better than CP3?
Nah,
No, no.
no
Definitely
way.
with
oh, I
Zach
have
there.
another question.
Kyrie's a better
Is Russell
skill.
Westbrook better than CP3?
Kyrie's more skilled than Chris Paul, but not a better player. Without LeBron, I seen Kyrie flame out too much.
What about Russell Westbrook?
Right.
Yeah,
Is he
Russell
better
Westbrook
than
is
Chris
better than
Paul?
CP3. Russell Westbrook is
I
better
don't
than
know.
CP3.
I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
about that.
Listen, they both have a finals appearance and they both didn't win it all. But the thing is though, Russell Westbrook got an MVP. Chris Paul don't got an
True.
MVP.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, but you remember the OKC team? That team only had a 3% chance of making the playoffs. He made them way better than what Westbrook made them.
And they
Westbrook
almost
had,
beat Houston.
and Westbrook had another
But then
superstar.
let
He
me
had Paul George. Chris Paul did not
I
have.
don't.
but
I
let me
don't think
ask you
Paul.
this.
Paul just not superstar all star. He's not superstar. Paul George is not superstar all star.
But he was a three. He was third in MVP voting one of those years.
I'll give you that. And you also had Carmelo Anthony too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, and Russ and CP3. His best player was what's his name? Shai Alexander. What's his name?
SGA,
Yeah,
Shea
that was
Gilgeous
his best player he had. Westbrook had Paul George and Melo.
and lost in the first round to a rookie, Utah Jazz, to a
And
rookie.
and the following year against Portland when Paul George was having his best year of his career.
Yeah, and they still lost in the first round. Yeah.
Okay. Now, as far for
But the
we
thing is
talked
though,
about Chris
but
Paul. Oh, hold on, John. You can finish your point. Then I get to the next one. Go ahead,
no,
Zach.
I'm just saying that like we never seen Russell Westbrook have meltdowns like this, like Chris Paul though. Like okay, Russell Westbrook may play erratic, he may be out of control, but you know one thing for sure, Russell's gonna show up though.
That's true. He does fight every night. He
Yeah, but
does
I think
perform.
CP3's higher IQ. His IQ is a lot better.
True that too.
Is it really, if his IQ is so better, then why is he getting blown out in the game 7? If his IQ is so much better,
But if
game
you
I
seven,
replace
mean,
no,
Chris
that's
Paul with Russell Westbrook, you think it would be more competitive? I don't know about that. Because they would have sagged
yes,
off him. I don't know. Because they would have sagged off him. They could have clocked. We don't know about. I don't know. They could have sagged off Westbrook. Do you really trust Westbrook to hit all those open jump shots?
I trust Westbrook. I trust Russell Westbrook when he has shooters around him because he loves to drive and kick.
I mean, he did have shooters around him in Houston. He still didn't go far in 2020.
And they went to the second round and
They
got beat by
did, but they got
LeBron.
yeah.
They
But you
got beat
thought
by
5 games.
LeBron.
I understand that, but you thought to lose 4 in a row to win game 1, and they got smoked the last 4 games.
Well,
Who are you talking about?
he didn't
What are
get
you talking
swept
about?
though. He didn't get swept. So
But it doesn't matter. A loss is a loss. He lost in 5.
yeah, it does matter because he lost to
No, it does
LeBron.
not. No, it does not. It does not matter because in game 1 they outplayed the Lakers. In games 2, 3, 4, and 5 they got shellacked. And again, Westbrook is great. We're not saying he's not a great player. I'm just saying as an overall point guard, I don't think he's great. Yes, Chris Paul's a choke artist, and I'm not ignoring that. But so is Westbrook. I seen Russell Westbrook in 2018 lose to a Jazz that he was better than. The Thunder were better than the Jazz in 2018, still lost. And then in 2019, even though I'm not a big fan of Damian Lillard took his lunch money in the first round of 2019 and lost in
Oh,
5.
I'm glad you
And
said
don't-
that. Is Dame better than Chris Paul? I'm glad you just brought
uh,
that up. Is Dame better than Chris Paul?
I think they're about the same.
I think they're about the same. They're about the same. Dame is he's more of a better 3-point shooting scorer. But I've seen Dame flame out too much in the playoffs too.
No, but what's it called? CP3 has the most 2-0 leads blown. That's
That is a good point.
That's crazy, man. That
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is crazy.
Despite all of CP3's high IQ, he got the most 2-0 leads blown in NBA
I mean, but
history.
Westbrook, some guys can't even go up 2-0 though, like Westbrook.
And Dame too. Yeah.
I still think CP3 is probably bottom top 10 though, like maybe 8 or 9.
Same here around that 8 or 9 for me. I can't put him higher, especially after this. Nah, he's not top 5. He's had too many choke jobs. I mean, 10 points in game 7, not taking 10 shots at all, blowing a 12 lead in the NBA Finals. I mean, come on. Game 5 against Milwaukee, you up 16 and lose. Game 6 in Milwaukee, you up 7 in the third quarter and lose. I mean, come on. Can I keep going? 2013,
Don't
you up
forget
2
the
Memphis.
Spurs series too. They were up 2-0 and 3-2 in 2008.
2008 against San Antonio was against the Spurs and lost that series. He lost game 7. 2016, I don't count that against him because he got hurt and didn't play the last 2 games, so I don't count that. But the 2013, he was up 2-0 on the Grizzlies and choked and lost 4 in a row.
2014, remember game 5? 2014 game 5 against
20,
OKC.
yeah, he was up 7 with like 40 seconds to go and lost. I don't know how. 2015 blew a 3-1 lead to the Rockets, blew a 19-point lead in game 6 at home and lost. You never let in game 7, got blown out. I mean, freaking Trevor Ariza and James Harden not played during game 7 2015. In 2017, you lost a game 7 at home against the Jazz. In fact, they lost 3 games at home in the same series. I remember Joe Johnson the buzzer beater in game 1. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, Utah went on the road, right, in game 7?
Yeah, they won on the road. Utah, they blew him out on the road. The Clippers, yeah. 2019, lost to
Okay,
the
so
Warriors.
that brings us to the second one then. What
Yeah.
about the second guy that lost? This
James
He's so
Harden.
young, though.
James Harden. James Harden.
Antetokounmpo, so-called best player in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Giannis'
this
career
is
is far from finished. He's still in his prime. CP3 is at the end of his career.
Yeah, Chris Paul's not gonna win a ring. It's over, man.
Because Giannis is only 26, I believe. 26 years
Around
old.
that.
So
Around that.
still has ways to go. CP3 is 37.
37. It is over, man.
He's
not
done.
gonna win.
He's done.
Okay,
CP3 is done.
I agree with that.
The thing is,
So
I can't
where
evaluate
does this
Giannis'
leave
legacy
Giannis? Is he still
because
the best player in basketball?
Yeah,
He just got
Giannis still the
dethroned.
best player in basketball for you guys.
I say you can make a case. No, you lost,
He got dethroned.
and not just that. You got
I mean,
smacked around.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Before 1991, was Michael Jordan the best player in the world before 1991?
Before 91, you can make a case. No, there was Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird,
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson. I can say no. To be honest, no. Because Jordan had to prove himself. He had to prove himself.
Prince, what about you? Do you think Jordan was the best player before 1991?
Hell yeah, definitely. 1991.
No,
yeah.
before 91. Before 91.
Oh, before 91. I would say Jordan was the best player in 1989 and up. I'll say somewhere in between it.
So even when he was losing against the Pistons,
he couldn't get 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
Because look, there's levels to this. There's different levels to this because that whole Pistons team, they focused just on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, even with those hard hits and fouls and rules, these guys. I never have. The Detroit Pistons would tell you quit again.
You're lagging up.
You're lagging, P.
Oh, this guy, we punched him in the everything possible. Detroit Pistons team was that one team that was able to get away with doing a lot of stuff that a lot of people weren't able to get away with. And they didn't care. They didn't care whether they played or not, as long as they won. So, but a lot of people say, I'm going to do, but never. The Pistons was no joke, man. So I still say he was the best player from 1989 and up.
Yeah, but you don't think you can make a case for Isaiah Thomas in 89 and 90 since he was.
Isaiah was. I remember.
Good, but Isaiah was great. Isaiah was great, but I don't think he was a better individual player than those guys. It's the same situation like LeBron. I said LeBron was the best player in the game in some seasons when he lost. Because you gotta look at the situations.
2015, true. 2015.
So you could
2018,
lose and still be the best player in basketball.
Well, the thing with Jordan, though, they're saying the main issue was him with that he didn't utilize his teammates. So that was his critique against him.
Here's the thing. Jordan became a championship contender to about like 1989. Those rest of those seasons, they were good teams, but they weren't champions.
No, 1988, he was MVP.
Prime, yeah, I know. That's what I'm just saying. I mean, I said late 80s, he became a championship contender. Whether he lost or not, he still was a championship contender. So I do hold those seasons against him. He didn't win, but at the same time, you could still make a case he was the better individual player. We did the same thing for LeBron James. When he lost, we still say he was the best individual player. I still said LeBron was the best individual player in 2015, even though he lost. So you got to take things into context,
Yeah, but the thing is with that, though, people are saying, you think he was the best player in 2009 and 2010?
No, it was Kobe.
No, I would say that was probably still Kobe. I think LeBron was probably the best player in 2011.
You can make a case.
No, 2011, that was the year he choked.
Nope.
I don't think you can say he was the best player in 2011 after that.
So was it Dirk Nowitzki? Was it Dirk?
I don't know. I don't know, because how could he be the best player when you're putting up 8 points in the finals game?
That's a good point.
So I think we're in that moment right now where we don't know who exactly is the best player, like how it was in 2011.
Yes. It's really up for grabs this year.
Because in 2011 it was like that too. Because Kobe was out, he got swept by the Mavs, and then LeBron choked against the Mavs too. So I think it's one of those years where I think it's up for grabs.
So if Giannis lost his title,
Luka
he's
Doncic,
most likely to take this.
You can make a case. Luka. There's also Curry. It's tough to say. We just gotta find out who wins the title.
If the Heat wins, what does that mean for Jimmy Butler? Is Jimmy Butler a superstar if the Heat win?
If he wins, if they win a championship,
I don't say Jimmy's a superstar because like he's more of a postseason player, but because he doesn't put like the numbers he put up in the postseason, he doesn't do it in the regular season. But
Isaiah Thomas was like that too. Isaiah Thomas was not. He was more of a playoff person than regular season.
Because superstars like Bron, KD, Steph, they put those numbers up in the regular season and postseason.
Right, both. Yeah, both.
So do you think Isaiah Thomas was a superstar?
Which one, the Bad Boy Piston?
Yeah.
Nah. He's more of a postseason player.
I don't think so. I think he's one of the 3 greatest point guards of all time.
I think he was. He was doing it in the regular season and postseason. If you watch
regular season, he was.
We're not going to discredit Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas was a savage.
G-Money. Isaiah Thomas was not a regular season player. He was more of a playoff person.
Good point. True.
He was averaging like 17, 18 a game, like Jimmy Butler does now.
Right. I
To me,
don't
I don't
think
think
Butler's
regular
is,
season. I think playoffs is where like you define your legacy.
which is true. But what do you think? If Miami would have won the title, you think Jimmy Butler is a superstar, Chi-Town?
I don't know because his team reminded me of the all four Pistons.
Mm,
And
Hmm.
would you say Rasheed Wallace was a superstar that year?
no, hell no.
I mean, he was their best player.
No,
I mean,
a
no,
superstar
but he.
isn't just the guy in the. Hold on, a superstar isn't a guy just in the postseason. It's a guy that's consistently great.
Hmm.
No, because this Heat team reminded me more of those Piston teams in 04.
Yeah. So if Jimmy
Hmm.
Butler does win the championship, that don't make him a superstar because he's a legit all-star. He's a good second option. You got to put
Right.
stuff into context, man. It's not like Jimmy
Hmm.
Butler is an MVP candidate every season and he dominates the league. He's not that guy. A superstar is a guy
Right.
that's
Well, if
consistently
he does
great.
win a championship, though, you
So
can't say he's that guy if he wins the championship. If he gets
that
to,
depends. I mean, if he wins a championship, will he be that guy or will it be somebody else?
No.
We don't know. We got to look at how they win. We got to see how they win first and foremost. So it's not about just winning and it's not just about losing. It's how you lose, how you win. See how we grading Chris Paul. You know, it'd be a different story if Chris Paul lost by 1 or something like that. You know what I mean? But they got blown out. Okay, so that
In a
adds
game
different
7, in a
context.
game
At
They
seven
got
for
home.
all
blown
the
out. They were a
marbles.
champion.
At
okay, now
home.
what about if Boston wins? If
Exactly.
Boston wins, is Tatum a superstar? If Boston wins,
I would say that he's a budding superstar because if he wins, then I know going to next season he'll be a front runner for MVP.
I'm gonna say no, but emerging superstar, like what John said. I say no, but emerging superstar.
Exactly. I was just about to say that too. He would have to continue that greatness all season long. He can't just show up for the postseason. I mean, that's good. It's a good thing that you do that. But at the same
Mhm.
time, to be a superstar, you got to be that dude that, you know, fill up that stat sheet every night consistently, put your team on your back, a true top 5 superstar, a top 5 player in the league basically, consistently every
What
game.
was if Luca wins the title? You think he's a superstar if the Mavericks win the title?
well, yeah, of course, because
Same, same,
he
same for him. He'll be emerging superstar. But
no, but
you
even in
could
the
make a
regular,
case.
Luca's great in regular season too. He puts up numbers all throughout the year. He's
That's why
not
I was
just
just about. That's what I was just about to say. There's some people that say he was a top 5 player. There's some people that say he was an MVP candidate. So Luka may have a head start on Jason Tatum.
Hmm.
He
now.
may
If Steph
have
wins,
a little
you can
head
make the
start on
argument
Jason
he's the
Tatum.
best player in the league if he wins.
You can make a case, yeah, right.
Yes, yes, because he already has the individual back, the resume, and the superstar status already. So all he's missing is that Finals MVP, and he's missing the true right to be called that number 1 on his team.
Wait,
Because
wait,
a
hold
lot
on.
of people had that
AKKD
narrative
says
that he never was.
Tatum is where Kawhi was at 2014. No, Kawhi was a role player in 2014. He wasn't a superstar.
Right. He was an
2014,
all.
he
He
was
was. He was
averaging
just a role player. Yeah.
9 points a game in 2014. So he was
Just
a
because you win
Exactly.
Finals MVP does not mean you're a superstar. If we're going by that logic, Iguodala won Finals MVP in 2015. Was he a superstar?
Yep,
because
that is
Kawhi
true.
was only averaging 9 points a game in 2014.
I mean, to
Yep.
be fair, with Kawhi, he did come alive the last 3 games. He was more of a, like you said, role player. To be fair with Kawhi, he did come alive. The last 3, he had like what 29 in game 3, 20 plus in games 4 and 5. So I get your point, Shaitan. He's more of a, like you said, role player than a star. Just because you win a Finals MVP does not mean superstar. Example: if Jordan Poole wins the Finals MVP, is he a superstar all of a sudden?
Oh, of course not.
Right.
Oh yeah. And Chi-Town, I don't know if you was watching those series, but when you watch Detroit versus Bulls, you do realize when Jordan got the ball, they weren't going after the stop Jordan. They were going to they
No,
weren't going
but
to
then
stop the ball. They
89
were
though.
going to they
But
were going to hit Jordan. Listen, he had plays where he go to the basket. They're not even looking to block the shot. They just jump on his back. And Isaiah Thomas was on his back. I remember this play. Isaiah Thomas was on his back, and he coming down. As soon as he come down, Dennis Rodman punches the dude in the face, and the league don't do nothing about it. I mean, I'm like, what?
yeah, but
You
even then too, I feel like with
guys allowed them to play NFL
the
style
80s
football.
though,
I can make a case that if they didn't hold on, if they didn't get to do that, you could make a case that the Bulls probably would have beat them a couple times earlier. You know, they probably would have still beat them probably in 1990 if Scottie Pippen played. But they said they
Well,
didn't
even
fear
89
nobody
too,
on
because
that team.
89
The
they're
only
up
guy,
2-1 in the series.
exactly, the only guy they feared really was Michael Jordan, and
Man,
that whole team collapsed. They didn't care about those dudes.
from
Good
Prince,
point.
Prince, I can't really agree with that because, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson had to go through the same thing, and they
Hmm.
actually won against the Detroit Pistons. So,
Okay, yeah, see,
they,
but there's a big
nah,
difference.
there's no big difference, man. They went
And
through
you
the
can't
same.
use the
Johnson and
better
Larry
team
Bird had
argument. And also,
I like
Prince, they do have
yeah,
a point, P. You
it is.
cannot use
Hold
the
on,
better team argument
hold on.
because look at
No,
Doncic.
no,
Were the
hold
Mavericks the
on.
better
Let me
team in
say
a
this.
sense?
Larry Bird. No, no, but that's a different story. I'm just talking about this one right now from the past. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird played with future Hall of Famers and guys that were already All Stars on that team. I mean, it wasn't like a super team. I understand that, but that team was already developed in their prime. All right. So was the Showtime Magic Johnson Lakers. Those guys were built and more able to sustain Detroit, even if they played a physical style, because you had to stop the whole Lakers team. The Lakers had weapons. The Bulls didn't have weapons until Scottie Pippen developed and the rest of that team developed. And it took a while for them to do that. Remember, Scottie Pippen was drafted in 1987. He had to go through his school of hard knocks. He wasn't. He was the guy that averaging 13 coming off the bench. He had to become a good basketball player. It took a couple of seasons. All those guys, they had to develop to become great. They weren't like a James Worthy. They weren't a Robert Parrish. These guys were already good players. Some of them off the bat. So it's a little bit different. In the 80s what belonged to the Celtics and the Lakers. They had two of the deepest teams in that time frame. Bulls weren't a championship contender until about what 1989. I let you guys get back point with Luka. I don't want to keep talking about the past too much.
I mean, we get that, but even then, even if you don't have a better team, sometimes the best player can overcome the better team. Like
No, no, no,
again,
that's not true. That's not
that is true. Luka Doncic was
true.
the best player against the
Team
Mavs
does
against the
win
Suns.
the
The
game.
Suns
This is
were
a
the
team
better
that
team, but Luka Doncic overcame that. That's a fact. Be honest, man. The Suns were better than the Mavs, but the Mavs were more mentally tougher. And Luka
John,
Doncic,
that's not just Luka team. I know that, but this is a team sport. This is a team sport. You have your superstars. It's not just about a superstar dropping 40, 50. We've seen this all the time with the LeBrons, the Jordans, the Kobe's, and they still come up short if they don't have a team backing them up.
I mean, I understand that, but what I'm
Yeah,
saying, what
but
John
But even
Shytown and I
Kobe
trying
too,
to
I
see is
don't.
that at least one
Kobe, I'll give
year
him
we
a
made
he
pass
was
for
doing a good.
2006.
those
2006, he had a
guys.
3-1 lead.
Luka
2000.
Luka was the best individual player on the floor, but those guys, those players did show up.
True,
Charles Bronson. I mean, I call him Charles Bronson. Because
Jalen Brunson,
that's my
Jalen,
nickname for him.
but he
But
was up and down the
you
whole
know,
series. He came
yeah,
alive
I'm
in
calling
Game
him
Six. I'll
Charles.
give you that, but he was up and down the whole
I
series.
call him I call him Charles Bronson because of the simple fact that you know that it's just a nickname. But
Yeah, but
a
the thing is
team
with 89
does
though,
win a game.
in
Okay,
1989 they're up
you can't
2-1
win
in
a
the
series with
series.
just a superstar.
You can't ignore that.
Superstars can't
You
just
can't ignore that, P. Throughout 2-1, no matter if
superstars.
he was favored or not, you
I
still had a
know,
2-1 lead.
I
Still had
know
a
that,
chance to
and
execute.
I know that. But who was more that on? That was on the Phoenix Suns more being more fraudulent than the Dallas Mavericks.
I see a combination of both.
If
I
that's
think
the
a
case,
combination
then
of
that's
both.
just okay. But you let your team get outplayed by another team. It's not just about a superstar. It's still a team sport.
No,
Period.
I
You
understand
know,
that. I
you could
understand that.
Yeah, I'm just
But
saying
when I'm
for 1989, I can't
and
give
that
Jordan a
team
pass on that because in the
that
last three
Dallas
games, he was getting
good
Mavericks
outplayed
point.
by
team
Isaiah Thomas.
Good point.
that
Good
Dallas
point,
Mavericks
Showtime.
that Dallas Mavericks team just happens to that Dallas Mavericks team just happened to be outplaying the Phoenix Suns. Well, what point would you make in Chi-Town? Did you just say?
And I can't give him 1989 because in the last three games of the series, they're up 2-1. In the last three games, he got outplayed by Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
I think in
it happens. Isaiah
1989,
Thomas is
Isaiah.
all time great.
No, I'm just saying in
Isaiah Thomas is an
1989,
all
I
time
think
great.
Isaiah Thomas was the best player in the league in 1989.
I agree. He was. He was.
You could make a case, but I still don't think he was though, man. But I mean, listen, man, it goes into context. you got to look at 1989 when. Let me show you one of their imprints for their Jordan rules. There was if Jordan gets the ball,
No, I think
even
Jordan. No. I think Jordan was the most talented player. Talent-wise, he was the most talented player in the league. No one's denying that. But I'm talking
True.
about. I think talent and the best player are two different things.
It is.
yeah, you can make a case, but I can't really go that far to say that too much because I don't think Isaiah Thomas was better than Magic Johnson or Larry Bird in 1989. I mean, I just think that
Yeah, but the thing is, you
his
look at
team just
Isaiah's
happened to be
team
the
and you
best,
look at
probably the
Magic's
best
team.
team in 19.
Magic had Kareem and James Worthy. Isaiah Thomas'
Hmm.
best teammate was Bill
Yeah,
Laimbeer.
Right.
yeah.
So
Hey man,
Isaiah Thomas had the
they
worst.
they
Magic
had
had
an
the better
incredible
teams.
season. I mean, I'm not saying they did. I, I know, but sometimes a lesser talented team does find a way to win. Look at 2011 with Dallas Mavericks. They had no business beating the Miami Heat, but they did. So
Yeah, and he
Hmm.
sometimes
just
a team
admitted
could
that
get hot,
LeBron
like
wasn't the best
G
player in the
Money,
league that year.
Hmm.
like G Money just said. You know, what happens if the Dallas Mavericks get hot? Those teammates get hot. They start shooting threes. That don't mean technically on paper they're the better team. They're just getting hot at the right time. Anything can happen. So
Like I said, you can have a better team and lose because
I
sometimes one night you can just be
go as
off.
far as say as
One,
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can make a case. You can make a case, but I wouldn't go as far to say Isaiah Thomas was better than Michael Jordan in 1989 because I don't think he was better than Magic or um, Larry Bird, even though
No,
he
Magic I
beat
strongly
those
disagree
guys too.
because he had
But
Isaiah had the Magic had a better team than Isaiah.
it's true.
yeah,
Because
But
I
And
mean
like
it
I
had,
said, you
and
can
like I
over.
and
said, it happened
and
to be hot.
and we seen as soon as Kareem retired, Magic couldn't win a championship.
Good point. And like I said, you can
Oh
overcome
yeah,
a better team if you
that's
execute on both sides of the ball.
that. I'm glad you brought that up because that holds on. I'm glad. I'm glad
you're lagging
because
again.
that gets held resume in terms of being in the go. But we about just individual seasons. I'm assuming it's a whole year into context too. So I wouldn't go as far to say he was the best player. I just said his team just was probably the
What's good, yeah?
one of the best defensive teams that
Good man.
defense do championships. What's up, Jay?
Yeah, KD fans having a ball right now. I see.
Oh yeah,
Oh, dude, some LeBron fans were talking to. They're like, "Oh, LeBron beat this dude. This is not the same team as 2018."
I know, right?
It's a whole different roster. I don't think they have a new coach too.
Kobe
Udoka's
Bryant
not
beat
way
Boston
better
too,
Bryant.
When they bring up LeBron,
No,
Kobe Bryant beat Boston too,
no. What's funny is KD beat the same team. By that logic, KD beat the same team last year.
Yeah, but KD got
Good point.
swept. So right now they roll. Regardless, I give Giannis more props than Kevin Durant. He didn't cheat the system. He fought to the end. He just basically collapsed.
And Giannis didn't have his second best player. He didn't have Chris Middleton.
Yeah, he took them to game
I
7.
mean, that is a good point, and I understand that. But like I said, they had opportunities. Let's be fair with Boston. Boston didn't have Marcus Smart for one game. Robert Williams was a rim protector. He was out most of the series. Again, I know Chris Middleton's better than those guys. I get it, but Milwaukee did have a chance to win the series. Game 4, they had a double-digit lead. And Giannis in the fourth quarter got played by Al Horford. Game 6, again, Giannis had a good game 6 for the most part, but you did have a chance to storm back and you lost. And then game 6, you had a 10-point lead and lost by 28. Again, I know injuries matter, but injuries matter for both teams. But it's a matter of if you can overcome it, though. Because look at the Mavericks, for example, right? They don't have Tim Hardaway, who's their second best player, right? But he's in the Western Conference Finals. No one predicted that.
No, I'm just saying Giannis had one. KD couldn't get a single win on this team.
No, I
That's what
understand
I'm
that.
trying
I
to
agree
say.
with that. I understand that, true.
Yeah, KD got shut down completely.
Yeah,
Giannis
I'm
didn't
not
get
saying
shut
Giannis gets a
down.
pass because he had opportunities to win. We're just saying that he showed more than what KD did against the same team.
Which
Remember
I
what I
agree with
told
that.
y'all when I thought they were going to win game 6? I was like, I don't think so.
I was wrong. Emphatically wrong.
I was like, I don't think they're running right through Boston that easily. I was like, I don't know. Boston didn't do so well
Jay,
in the first half
Giannis
anyway,
came up
but they
short.
came back into the game.
Giannis,
But I'm
Jay,
sorry, but this is not the worst. The
Jay.
Suns game was the worst. I'm sorry.
Oh, by
Oh, yeah.
far.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
of course.
My dad's like, yo, look at the Suns game. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what, 57 to what? 27?
27.
I was like, oh shit.
Yo,
That is worse
yo,
than
Jay,
the
he
Bucks
did.
game.
Dude,
Yo,
in the
Jay.
first quarter, Luka had the same amount
God
of points
damn,
as
they
the
got
entire
the
Suns
hell
team.
beat out of them.
That's embarrassing. And Dinwiddie
The
was killing them too.
Suns getting blown out like this?
At home. Don't
God
forget, this is at home.
damn.
And Dinwiddie too was lining it up. It gets bad when Friendly Keena and Marcus Chris are getting threes too. It gets bad in the Phoenix.
I'm not gonna
And
call
CP3
Giannis
the
a role player, but a lot of people's calling Chris
Jay.
Paul a role player now.
CP3 the first 3 quarters, 3 points.
A lot of
Yes.
people's busting on the Suns even harder than the Bucks because the Bucks went out. It's Game 7 series, but the Suns, that's
They didn't
even
fight
worse.
at all. They didn't fight. They didn't fight at all. They just
My
gave up.
God. But I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like, this was
Yo,
worse.
Jay, Giannis
than
didn't show up for these.
Yeah, we knew. I mean,
Jay, yo, Jay, Giannis's offensive game was suspect for these last 2 games.
yeah, of course. We saw how the series was going.
He was
Missing
for
free
4-16 in the second half, I think, something like that.
Listen, Giannis is not a good shooter. He's not a good mid-range shooter. He's not a good free throw shooter. He has weaknesses. I mean, we all see it.
It's
And
just
then
his heart, though.
Drew
He has
Holiday-
more heart. He has more heart.
Drew
than
Holiday was bad most of the series. Where was the role players? Where was Bobby Portis, Grayson Allen?
So I wasn't all complete
Wes
surprised that they
Matthews,
lose the
Brook
game. I
Lopez.
was not.
Yo, I'm pulling up some stats for the Suns game. So
The Suns was surprising. The
Devin
Suns was
Booker-
way like, wow.
Devin Booker was 3 for 14. Or for 4
Booker
for
was
3.
trash, 3 or 14.
God damn.
CP3
18,
only
5
took 8
points.
shots this whole series. I mean, this whole game, 8 shots. 1 for 3
Yards.
from 3. It was.
Oh, yeah.
Crowder 2 for 9. What was Bridges? 3 of 11.
Yeah, their highest leading scorer was 12 points, Cam Johnson.
That's embarrassing. If you're the Suns.
Hey, yo, Jay,
Yeah.
let me answer this question because we was talking about it earlier. In 1989, was Isaiah Thomas better than Michael Jordan for you?
Isaiah Thomas, he was beating
Yeah,
Jordan.
the Pistons
with the
won the
Jordan
title
rule.
that year.
I mean, with the Jordan rules?
No. Was he the better individual player in 1989 for you?
No, he was not better than Michael Jordan. 1-on-1? 1-on-1? He couldn't
No, but
stop
yeah, but
Jordan.
here's the thing,
No, he
though.
said that season. 89, that season.
I don't know, man.
No, because the thing is, I think Prince. This is not what you're saying. There's a difference between talent and who's a better player. Jordan was a more talented player. I think everyone could agree on that. I'm just saying.
No, but we talking about that. We talking about that one season. This is just a simple question. Was he better than Michael Jordan in that one season? I mean, you.
No, I said Jordan was more talented.
No, that season I think Isaiah was better than Jordan that season.
You
But
just
no-
said he was the best player in 1989. So that means he was better than Michael Jordan in 1989. Right or wrong?
Well,
Yeah, I
Jordan
think he
getting
was
knocked the
better.
first round.
I just think Jordan was more talented, though.
But look at it. But see, the thing is,
Rather
look
he
how
be
the
more
game. But look at
talented or
this.
not,
Look how the
that
game was.
doesn't-
Yeah.
Well, hold on. That doesn't answer the question. We just answered a simple question. Was he better than Michael Jordan in 1989? You just said yeah.
I gotta think
I
about that.
say no. You know,
Nah,
what we
I
have
don't
to do.
think so. With
Rather
the
he
Jordan
was more
rules,
talented-
the way the game was played,
Rather he was more talented.
but I know a lot of people say, well, Isaiah Thomas did beat Magic and all the other greats too.
Because here's the thing, though, too. In the last 3 games in '89, Isaiah Thomas outplayed Michael Jordan. Look, you
Yeah,
can look.
he also beat Magic. They would have.
Yeah,
I know a
but
lot
I
of
think
people
he was
think that
better- I think
Isaiah
he was
Thomas
way
beat
better than
Michael.
that.
You're answering.
But it's
Okay,
like
wait, hold
Isaiah
on. So
Thomas,
then-
what all around 1989. What is like? What this ain't the people say about Tatum? They said Tatum was better than
You're
better
saying-
than playing Giannis.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say Tatum was better than Giannis. He
Oh,
beat
yeah.
Giannis,
Give
Kevin
me
Durant.
Uh,
I don't know.
hold on, yeah.
No, because here's the thing. Go look at the stats for 89. In game, they're up 2-1, and in game 4, 5, and 6, Isaiah Thomas outplayed Jordan in those last 3 games.
And this when Jordan was a rookie, right?
No, he was
No, he
against.
was not rookie. No,
Yeah, the feels gonna be like he was a rookie, right? He was a rookie. I'm just
no, he
saying.
was not.
Yeah, but see,
Because there was
at nighttime you
arguments saying
going
that he was a rookie that year
around,
too.
going.
All right, guys, I gotta head out, so I talk to you guys
Either
later.
he was the best or
Same
not.
here. I gotta go
All right,
too.
man.
All right,
See you later, everybody.
have a good one, John.
Have a good one, John.
Me too. I gotta go too. I gotta do
All
something.
right.
in
Yeah, I
the
know
morning. See
Prince
you
is
later.
go with this. I know Prince is thinking about what happened to Giannis and Kevin Durant, right? Getting beat by Tatum in Boston, right? But Tatum do so well in the series too.
Yeah, so I don't think Jason Tatum is a better basketball player than Giannis Antetokounmpo. You know,
You
just
think he's
because
better
Now
than Kevin
Giannis
Durant?
got weaknesses, Prince. I'm
team
sorry,
win
Giannis
doesn't
got
mean
too many weaknesses. He's
he
not a
has
better shooter. He's not a better
Yeah,
shooter
he
than
is. He does. He
Is
does.
Tatum better than Kevin
Giannis.
Durant?
I already admit to his offensive.
Offensively, Giannis is inconsistent, bro, and he can't shoot free throws.
Yeah,
No, do you guys
he's a
think
bad.
Jason Tatum is better than
He
Kevin
has
Durant?
offensive.
Huh?
He
Is
has.
Jason Tatum better than Kevin Durant?
You saw what happened, right? He shut him down.
No, I'm asking you guys a question. Do you think Jason Tatum is
Okay,
a
hold
better
on.
player than Kevin Durant right now?
Over
Yeah, he's better than Kevin Durant right now.
right now,
Right now,
you could probably
yes.
make it. I don't know. Probably you can make
He
a case right
is.
now, but overall, no. You know, overall, no.
God, come on, Prince. He got shut down, man. Kevin Durant couldn't do nothing with the
No, I
series,
mean,
man.
I know that. I know that. I'm saying now, yes. I'm talking about of all time on ranking.
No,
No.
I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, Tatum's better than Kevin
Right
Durant
now?
right now.
Yeah, I guess you can make that case. You know,
But you think Kevin
but
Durant's
Kevin
gonna come
Durant
back
wasn't.
next year?
I never had.
You think he's gonna find a way to win? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Kevin Durant's
See,
gonna.
but I never had Kevin Durant. I never had Kevin Durant being the best player this season, regardless. Anyway.
Hey, remember
So
Prince was saying LeBron was still the best player, man, until the all the way to a playing tournament.
Yep.
They were saying LeBron's still the king, man. He still got his 30. He broke Carmelo's
Wait.
record.
Jaron, do you think Jason Tatum is a superstar?
Hey, you got to prove it. You got to prove it. Getting past the
Gotta
freaking
prove
Miami, Golden State, he has to prove it.
I think if he wins a championship, in my opinion, I think he is. But if he wins a championship, that solidifies it.
Oh yeah, it
You know,
does. If he beats Golden
here's the
State and
thing.
Miami,
Here's
and
the thing.
Mavericks, whoever, yeah.
Here's the thing, Chi-Town. You're using the superstar term a little too lightly, though. Just because you win the championship don't mean you're a superstar. A superstar is a consistent, good player.
I mean, he beat
had-
two
Jason
superstars
Tatum-
though. He
It
beat
don't
Kevin
look,
Durant
but
and
Jason Tatum
Giannis.
is Jason Tatum a top 5 MVP candidate every season?
He could be next year.
Is-
Next year he
no.
could be.
He has.
But we
to
got
be
to
top-
see in the finals. If he goes to the
That's
finals,
why we got to see though.
because look what happened to Giannis.
Now you're crowning him a little too early though.
Look what happened to
Hold on
Giannis, and
for
I'm
a
like,
minute, Jay.
yeah.
Let him win the championship this season. Let him win a championship. Let him win a championship this season, and then he goes next season. If he plays at a top 5 level all year long, puts the team on his back, then he'd be a superstar. He'd be on the verge of a superstar if he could win this year.
Okay, now what about Luka Doncic?
But I can't call him even the best player in basketball.
What about Luka Doncic?
Luka has a head start. Luka will be a.
Oh, what they did
Yes.
to the Suns?
Luka will
Oh
be a
yeah.
superstar if he wins the championship.
My God, that was
Luka
a hell of a
Luka was an
beating.
MVP candidate. Luka was an MVP candidate before, Jason Tatum ever got into the mix of even be called that. So Luka has a head start.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. You know who else was a MVP candidate?
Who?
Rudy Gobert. But we know he's not a superstar.
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, but that's completely different, Chi-Town. That's world level.
No, but he's in the MVP discussion every year. Rudy Gobert.
Well, look how good Memphis was. Even though Memphis got taken out, you saw.
Every year for the last 2-3 years, I've seen Rudy Gobert on the MVP ballot, like top 5, top 10 every year. I'm not joking.
Now this what CP3 did it again, right? 2-0, right? I'm hearing he blew it at 2-0.
Fifth time.
Oh, come on, he's a role player. It's a role player. Everybody was right because everybody was saying he's a role player, all over the damn place. I'm just like, role player. And I'm like, okay, that exposed him being a role player. They kept bringing up the 2-0. But then again, it might say he's old. But that's not an excuse because all the other times he blew it, he was much younger than that. Because I might say he's old.
Well, I think this was the last year of his prime. I don't think he's. I think
So he's like 37, 38 or something like that.
I think his prime is over now. This was probably his best chance to last year as well. These last 2 years were his best chance.
Yo, Chris, a lot of role players, man.
And I told people too. The thing is, with next year, teams are gonna get better.
Yo, oh my God. How the hell the Suns? The Suns was worse than the Bucks series and Nets. Because the Nets and Bucks series was kind of even, sort of even, was a good match series. But the Suns, that was just an embarrassment. They had a #1 record in the whole league, and it just, they just collapsed. I was stunned, man. This was even more shocking than Giannis because I wasn't surprised what happened to the Bucks. I wasn't surprised at all. But the Suns
I
did
had Boston
around the
too.
corner. Just letting y'all know. NFL season around the corner. Just letting y'all know.
Yeah, I got Tom Brady, Prince. I got Tom Brady.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no.
I got the so-called GOAT, man. The so-called GOAT. He's gonna get his 8th championship, man.
But on the real, Chi-Town, I got no problem with you calling Isaiah Thomas as the best player in 1989. I just slightly disagree, but I mean Isaiah.
But you know what it is? He beat Jordan. He beat Jordan, and
I think Isaiah Thomas. I think Isaiah Thomas is one of the most underrated stars of all time because people tend not to give him credit for a lot of stuff.
Well, Jordan called the best point guard of all time.
No, he says second best. Second best.
Second best? Oh, yeah. The second best. Didn't they say Chris Paul was right after him? Was I hearing things before this? Oh, for real, right? It was Chris Paul, right? They were saying Chris Paul.
Even Mike. Even Mike give Isaiah Thomas his credit, and Michael Jordan barely gives anybody credit. So if Mike give you credit, then you got to be a special player. You know.
And the NBA is different now, man. These dudes still don't like each other, man. These guys are like old men now. They just don't like each other. Even Bill Laimbeer. The last time I checked, he had this face like, damn, you still got beef with MJ?
No, I have one friend who says Isaiah Thomas is better than Magic Johnson because he said the fact that Magic had Kareem, Worthy, and
Isaiah did beat Magic too. He beat a bunch of them.
Because his best teammate was Joe Dumars, while Magic had Kareem and James Worthy.
Yeah, but they lost to that boy Pistons a couple of times.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Magic had the better team in 1989.
I was looking at a clip when Jordan tried to dunk on Kareem. Kareem moved out the way, man. He didn't want him to come on poster. Kareem was like, oh shit, hell no. He moved out the way, man. It was like an old clip though. He fighting online. The Jordan was basically, attacking the rack, and he just jumped mad high, and then Kareem's like, oh shit, and Kareem moved out the way. Yo. Oh man. But yeah, man, Mavericks, man, Dallas, the whiskey was there too. He was giving them props. The regular whiskey.
Oh yeah, but if the Mavs win the championship this year, I think Luka's the head of the throne.
Yeah, and then now what? He's gonna be leveled the best player in the league.
I mean, you could say that if he wins the championship.
Yeah, if he wins, yeah. Because we were saying Giannis because Giannis was the champion, but now he's dethroned.
Here's the thing:
like me and
Luka
Prince said,
doesn't have
he gets dethroned. Now he got dethroned. He's not the best player.
Luka doesn't have weaknesses in his game. He could shoot the free throw, shoot the three.
You're right.
The only problem with him is though he's not a good defender.
Man, to be the GOAT, you have to have both ends of the court, man.
Well, no, I don't think he's the GOAT. I don't think he's anywhere. I'm just saying he'll be the best player compared to.
No, I'm just saying, like if he was trying to, the potential, you have to have both sides. And a lot of players throughout history can't do both sides of the end of the court on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I think if the Mavs win, I think you could say Luka is the best player on the planet because his only weakness is defense, but offensively, he has no weaknesses.
And watching the KD fans come like, oh, Kevin Durant's gonna come back. I'm like, oh, okay. How are they gonna come back? And they talking about Kyrie Irving might be traded or something like that.
Well, the thing is, Kyrie, he wants a max contract, and I don't think he deserves it.
He got exposed, Shy, man. He got exposed, man. This was like, I mean, the Nets and the Suns, this is going to be remembered, man. This is going to be remembered that they just reduced into role players. But I know a lot of people say, oh, it's just one series. It was one
No,
series.
CP3 has done this 5 times.
But this is what I'm saying. CP3 blew it several times. I mean, people cannot make an excuse that they're the superstars, they're elite players, they're role players.
All right.
Wait,
Now,
Prince, I have a question
also,
for you.
I want to talk about Shy-Ty, I want to talk about something that you said about Detroit Pistons. Keep in mind, yeah, those other teams were more talented probably on paper, but you got to look at it like this. Isaiah Thomas wasn't playing with no bums. He was playing with Joe Dumars. They're the only Hall of Fame backcourt duo in NBA history. He was playing with some of the best defensive basketball players of all time, with Dennis Rodman and all them boys. Dennis Rodman is one of the greatest rebounders ever.
And defenders, too. And defenders.
That the bad boy Pistons team was a team to be reckoned with. They
Yeah,
had
but
all
the thing
the
is,
talent.
compared
They
to
covered every
what
aspect
Magic had,
of a good basketball team. They had the microwave coming off the bench. They were solid, man. That bad boy team.
It's totally different eras, Prince. Because if y'all watch the game, the Boston Celtics games with the Bucks, the ref was calling every foul there is. You breathe on them, you touch them.
no, I'm
Foul,
just saying
foul,
though,
foul.
what Magic had and Isaiah
Like
Thomas
the
had,
game now is just totally different. You can't even
Magic
hit
had the
them,
better
try
team.
to touch them, or anything. It's just
Yo, it looks
foul.
like I'm having problems now with this connection a little bit. So I'm gonna be up out of here, man. Y'all have a good
Wait,
one.
let me ask you a
I'ma see
question,
y'all
Prince.
later.
Let me
Peace.
ask you a last question.
Can y'all hear me? We
Yeah,
about
we
to be
can.
out. We shutting down.
Wait,
Yeah,
Prince,
we're gonna do the rest of the
Prince,
cooking tomorrow.
I have a question for you.
Why is this not working right? I don't understand why this
Can
shit
you
is
hear
not
me?
working. Yeah.
Wait, Prince, can you hear me?
Oh, maybe if I take the Bluetooth off.
Yo,
We out,
Prince.
y'all. We headed out of here. Peace.